All right, mic check, I'm good. So I'm Max Ceron, CWB Association Welding podcast. Today we have a really cool guest, Welding podcast.
The show is about to begin.
Hello and welcome to another edition of the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron. As always, I'm out there trying to find the coolest people I can find to tell their stories on this amazing show. And this person I've had the pleasure of hanging with, partying with, discussing life's deep moments with at FabTech. I have the wonderful Miss Staci Martinez. How are you doing, Stacey?
I'm great. How are you?
I'm doing good. I haven't seen you since FabTech, but I follow you on Instagram. You're always doing cool stuff that I can't do, like handstands, because I'm like short and round. So like when I do a handstand, I kind of just roll.
Anybody can do them as long as you practice as manner. Short, tall, wide, thin. You just gotta want to do it and practice it and practice it and practice it every day.
How hard is that on your shoulders, or is it like good for your shoulders?
Well, if you're not strengthened up there, I do. I'm a fitness coach too, so I do use my body a lot, obviously. So I think there's like a there's a I don't know, what do you want to say? I utilize the weights and all that kind of stuff. I do a lot of lat pull downs and
you build those muscles before you try to just stand up. Like,
yes. Pull up, lots of pull-ups, lat pull-downs, anything that'll make my upper body stronger. And it takes a lot of core balance and stuff like that too, which I haven't got it down great yet, but I'm getting there.
So you're, I wrote down now, fitness coach. So you're also like, what don't you do? Like, I'm into fitness too, but I'm into fitness whole pizza in my mouth. Dun, dun.
Yeah, I don't know.
People don't usually think that I'm into sports because I'm tubby, but I've been tubby my whole life. It's just like my natural body build. I've actually never stopped playing sports my whole life. I love sports. I played volleyball on Tuesday. We kicked. It was, but I'm just shaped like an orange. I don't know. I can't help it. Like,
that's totally okay, man. Just stay active. It's good for you. There's lots of people, all shapes and sizes, that come to the gym. It doesn't even matter. You just keep active.
All right.
Do whatever you want.
So let's get into the real deal here. You are in the world of welding. You do stuff. I can see behind you, for the people that are going to watch this on YouTube. You got a cool mushroom. Looks like it looks like a giant Christmas ornament to me because it's got the hook on the top. like a giant would put this on his Christmas tree.
Right. Yeah, kind of wanted this one to be a little bit more whimsical. I don't know if you've seen the one that I had made last year, but I just thought I'd go a little different with this one. So it's one piece to the sculpture.
So what would you say your job title is? What is it that you do, or what are the hats that you wear, Stacy?
Oh my goodness.
So you're a mom.
I always
you got a couple kids.
Yeah, I got 3 kids. I got a 23-year-old, almost 16-year-old, and an almost 14-year-old. So yeah, crazy. I wear a lot of hats, and I usually don't try to say, because everyone's like, what the like, I don't ever try to brag, but it's just like when people ask me what I do, I just don't even know what to say. So I'll just lay it all out, I guess. I'm a mom, I'm a wife, been married to my husband for a really long time. We've been together, it'll be 25 years this summer. I weld, so I'm an artist. I do fabricate a little bit, but I'm trying to step away from that more and more and more. So now I just focus on the art. I am a carpenter. So I build wood furniture, and then my husband and I own Phoenician wood floors. So we restore old hardwood floors, and I'm a part-time fitness coach at Fit Body Boot Camp.
Awesome. I remember us talking about floors, because I have this house I'm in right now is built in 1952, and I got 3/4 inch hardwood floors throughout the whole main level, which people tell me is like impossible to find 3/4 inch hardwood now. But I don't know. Apparently it's just expensive because people put like little thin hardwood on. And I need to sand it. I already talked about it. I'm like, I'm just going to go rent a sander thing. And you're like, it's not that easy.
Yeah, man. People think it looks so easy, but it's it's one of those things. It's wood is very, you can't put it back once you take it off.
No.
So you get that big 8-inch drum sander and that belt just grips the floor. There's a divot.
That sounds terrible, and why I've stayed away from wood the majority of my adult life. I love steel. I love steel. It's so forgiving. Right? Like, oops, I cut it too short. Just put it back on, like.
Right? Yeah, your grinding skills could be, you got good grinding skills. You can make it look like you never did it.
Mm-hmm. So what came first, the carpentry or the welding? Like, what part of the trades did you kind of get into first?
So my husband's been into wood flooring like his whole life. So I've been around that my whole life. I just welded first. So I was actually in inventory management when I first started at the welding shop that I worked at, and they just were short welders, and they approached me about that. That's how I learned. So it was about I want to say like 10 years ago now that I started welding. So I guess welding came first because our wood flooring business, it's been about 8 years. So I guess, yeah.
So in your early life, let's talk about that. Where were you born? Sure. Where do you call home? Like, what's the roots?
Okay. I was here in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I was born and raised up until I turned 18. And then I met my husband here. He's originally from Phoenix.
Okay.
So I went to Phoenix for 10 years once I turned 18, and then we came back here, basically.
So what was in Phoenix?
His family.
Okay. And you guys went down there for about 10 years. And what did you do for a living there?
I worked for an aerospace company. I made kits for small jets and airplanes.
What's like that? Kits? What do you mean kits?
Kits. So there's a communications piece of the front of the cockpit, and there's chassis that go into there. Well, what go into those chassis is like washers, all kinds of different housing pieces, screws, nuts, bolts, stuff like that. The department that I managed was it was called Primus Epic Kitting. I don't know why they just didn't call it kitting. They had to put some fancy name on it, but it was it was crazy. Like, nobody was allowed in my department. Nobody was allowed to touch my stuff when I was gone. There wasn't anybody allowed to go in there because of aerospace things. If one thing goes wrong somewhere, they shut down everything. And so it was kind of a cool job, and I was super proud of it. But
so how the heck did you get into that? Like, maybe we should even go further back. Like, when you were a teenager, what was it that you thought? So you're in South Dakota, going to high school. What kind of kid were you? Like, were you handsy? Did you build stuff? Did you work on, the dirt bike, or were you an artist? What kind of a teenager were you? A bad one? No.
I was just in survival mode when I was a kid. Basically, I was just on autopilot, and I didn't have a very good upbringing or childhood. And I was basically, I don't know, kind of raised myself. My friends kind of, I don't know. It was just, without getting into too much detail, it was just really rough. So I was in autopilot most of my childhood. And so I didn't really express my creative side. I always was very quiet and observant. I watched everything that everybody had done. And one of my oldest brothers, I thought he was like the coolest guy. He he worked on muscle cars, and he welded, and he did all this stuff. And yeah, I just looked up to him, and he did all kinds of stuff. And then I have another brother that's a carpenter, and he's amazing at it. It's so crazy to me, like some of the stuff that he does. Yeah, so I kind of watched people work with their hands a lot, and I wasn't very good at school, and so I just felt like working with my hands or something that would, I don't know, something like that
just
would be more of my thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how many brothers and sisters you got?
I have 4 brothers and 2 sisters.
All right, so you're a big family. That's a big family there.
Yeah.
And you're the baby.
Yep.
So out of all the brothers and sisters, who kind of was the mentor to you? Who kind of took you under your wing? Because that's usually what happens in families where, I mean, I come from, we were refugees. It was kind of a rough start. And so, like, I very much, I'm the oldest. I was very much, like, there for my sister, right? Because my parents weren't really around. So, what, how about you? Like, who was in the family? Or were you the young kid that sometimes helps the older kids. Sometimes that happens.
Well, it kind of, my brother Seth, the one that's a carpenter, he like when we needed school clothes and things like that, he would do things to come up with the money to pay for my school clothes, that kind of stuff.
Do things without getting into too much detail.
Yes. So my brother Seth, yeah, and when we moved to Phoenix for the first time, he actually came with us too for a little bit, and then he ended up coming back here. But and then when I was, I think in the 7th grade, I lived with my sister for a little bit, and she took care of me for that year. And I lived with my oldest brother as well, the one that works with the cars and all that kind of stuff. So I was always just kind of bounced around, and I didn't really have like a stationary spot.
There wasn't that one person that was like, I'll take care of you.
Yeah, no. And I'm just more of an independent person too, and I still am, even though I've been with my husband for almost 25 years. I'm like hyper independent. Like I don't want him to help me with anything. I don't want none of that stuff.
He must get annoyed. He must get annoyed from that.
Yeah, he does. And he still will never give up. He still is like right there when I need him. So he's just waiting and hoping that I need his help for something. He's a really good guy.
So you get through high school, you didn't really like it. It was like not your bag. What the heck did you think you were going to do? You know, you got a couple brothers in the trades. I'm not sure what your sisters did, but you know, you're coming out of high school. It sounds like you already met your husband like pretty young. Were you in high school when you met or not?
No, well, I was out of high school when we met, and I never knew what I wanted to do. I worked at some I don't know, Hardee's. I don't know if you know what Hardee's is here.
Like
and I worked at
place.
like fast food. Yeah, and only for a couple of weeks though. And I could only stand to like work in these restaurants for like a little bit until
they suck.
Yeah, no,
they suck. Kudos to people that can do it. I got fired from one after 2 weeks. They were like, "No, this isn't your bag.
Get out of here." Yeah, I worked at this one Texas Road, and it wasn't Texas Roadhouse. It was called Lone Star. And my friend Erin got me a job there, and she didn't tell me everything they did because I think she knew that I wouldn't work there. And I'm a very quiet person. I don't sing. I don't dance.
Oh, you have to do like that happy birthday stuff?
Yes. Yes. I was like, what in the hell? I will never. I was like, as soon as they did that, I finished that shift and I never went back there again. I'm like, holy shit. They're like clapping and like jumping around these people. And I'm like, this is embarrassing. This is degrading. And I will never, I can never do
but some
that.
people love it. You know, props to them. But
but when you're like 16, 17 years old and shy as that is like one good way to scare somebody off for sure.
So you dipped your hands into the service industry, no dice. All right. Now what's happening with Stacey?
Gosh, I worked as a pet groomer at Sherry's Pampered Pets in Phoenix. I worked there for a little bit, and then I tried the daycare thing. And I did that for a few years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, a few years. Yeah. And then I think I was 21. So we were 21 and we had our first daughter, and we couldn't make it off of what, the dog groomer and all that. And so there was a sign down the street off the freeway that said this place was hiring. It was called Vitron Manufacturing. And I noticed that they started like super early. And so my mother-in-law was like, hey, you should go ahead and try it. I was like, so funny story, I didn't get my high school diploma at all. So I have no educational background whatsoever other than, just life. School. But yeah, so, and that's kind of a long story in itself on how that happened. But
well, I got all day, girl. I got all day.
Well, it gets really dark.
Yeah. Okay.
It gets dark if you want to hear it. So, if we can go back to the high school thing here after this, but
so Vitrion. What was it called?
Vitron Manufacturing.
Vitron, okay.
Yep. So they made all kinds of parts and airplane parts, all kinds of stuff like that, and chassis and things. And I had no skill whatsoever other than, daycare, watching kids wiping or, barely restaurant
Yeah.
thing. So I went in there. I think the shift started at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. I can't remember which. It's been years. I'm 42. I was like 20
Yeah.
or 21, something like that. So I went there right away in the morning before they even started. So when they opened the door, I went in and I was like, can I talk to the manager? And then they're like, yeah, sure. And then I gave them my information and I told them to call me if they are still, if they haven't found anybody to hire. And they never called. So I went back in there like a week later and talked to the same guy. He said he'd give me a call. Then he called me, gave me an interview, told me in the interview that the position that they were hiring for was for soldering. But it wasn't. I found out later it wasn't. He just didn't want to hire me. So I went back there again, like in a couple more weeks. And I said, hey, I really need a job. Can you figure out something? And they're like, all right. And they gave me the job for the kitting department. And within 3 months of me working there, they made me manager of it. So I don't think I did too bad.
Yeah. So you have some type of really good organizational skills.
Yeah. And there's a lot of parts and you have to be trusted with them. And they're all, bagged and put in these kits. So it's like a little white box with an insert that has all the parts basically cut out.
The
but
thing you get your pills in, like the prescription pills, and you can put like Monday to Friday, but huge.
Big,
Yeah.
bigger, like pizza box size, like, and then there's little foam cut out in there.
Okay.
And it had a place for everything to go. But we, when we first started, I think we were doing 300 of those a month. And then by the time we quit, we were doing like tens of thousands of them.
So when you say we quit, who's the we?
Well, why am I saying we? I don't know.
How many of you?
I was pregnant. I was pregnant with my middle child. So me and my child.
Yeah, we'll cut the out of there.
I guess. I don't know why I said we, but shortly after that, we moved back here. So Hayden was 5 months old when we moved back here.
So
okay,
wait. We were in South Dakota, and then you got the job at Vitron. Right.
Yep.
And then when did you make the move to Phoenix?
So Phoenix. So I was here once I turned 18, I moved to Phoenix.
Oh, okay.
And then I was there for 10 years and then we moved back here.
Right. So the Vitron job is in Phoenix.
Yes.
Right. Okay.
Sorry.
I thought no. I was trying to put the pieces together. So now you're in Phoenix. You worked at this company for a while doing these kits and it was good. And then what brought you back to South Dakota?
The economy was really there, and Joe was in the construction industry, and it basically stopped. Like he didn't have any work, and I was only making like, I don't know. I don't even know how much I was making. Then probably like $15-16 an hour, and it was just me. And we had, car payments and house payments and a brand new 5-month-old baby. And then my dad just said, hey, why don't you just come back here? We'll all get a house to rent together. And then as soon as that year's up, then you can move out and you guys can, so that's how we did that.
Cool. So you guys all pack up the vehicle, 2 kids, the 2 of you moved back to South Dakota. What kind of work did you get when you got back there? What were you looking for? I don't think you were looking to work at Arby's anymore. Were you trying to get back into some like aeronautical thing or manufacturing thing, or what did you do?
No. So I worked, I worked as a florist. I made bouquets and arrangements. And
I feel like that would be a really fun job.
It is really fun. I never worked with a group of ladies before, so that was a challenge and a different thing for me because they're very ruthless,
Oh yeah,
yeah. I'm like, I don't know, like, yeah, it was really fun. It was a learning experience for me, and I love anything creative. If I can put my creativity in something, then I'm all in on that. So I did that for quite a while. Yeah, I did that for a really long time. And then as soon as I found the job at, Twin City Fan is where I learned how to weld. So and then I went straight from the floral shop to Twin City Fan.
To the
And
welding
that's,
shop.
yep. And I was inventory management there
Okay, I
because I
see.
had the inventory management and things like that from
Kidding.
Ceron.
Right.
So yes, from Kidding. So
So when you were young, you said that you didn't have the time or space to kind of let the creative side explore itself, or be able to really get into that creative side of you.
right.
Between there and being a florist, where you said that you loved being able to express your creative side, had
Mhm.
you over those 10, 12 years now been able to explore your creative side? Like, were you able to pick up a hobby during the time in Phoenix, or when did you start letting that creative part of your body out?
I like it, even though I'm not very good at it, I like to draw, or I don't know, gosh, I like I like to do scrapbooking and things like that, or anything that I could do to express my creativity. I don't know, even if it was just like rearranging a room like 500 times, or like redecorating it or
Hmm.
something. I always felt like I needed to do that all the time, and I never really did stuff that would like fulfill that, I guess you would say.
Yeah.
I always felt like, oh, I'm so years old. I was always taking pictures off the wall or putting it back or something like that.
Did you feel that you
So,
just had too much on your plate? Like, you went from being a quiet, shy kid to a mom with two kids, and then this is before we went back to South Dakota. Sole
yeah.
breadwinner. Hubby's at home trying to find work in a dying economy. It doesn't sound like there's a lot of space there. Like, you're still kind of in survival mode nonstop, right?
Yes, constantly my whole life. There was a time though that I did sell diaper cakes. I don't know if you know what that
What's a
is.
diaper cake? It doesn't sound good. It sounds like not something I would order at a restaurant.
No. So it's just cakes. Like you roll up little diapers and you put little clear rubber bands on them, and you make like layers to cakes, put ribbons around them. You can put stuffed animals on them. I put wooden spoons, or gosh, I'm gonna have to show you. I'll send you one that I did later. But I used to make little motorcycles, like little quads, had two back wheels and a front wheel,
Hmm.
and like a blanket like through it. I sold those at the store called the Willow Tree out here. So I totally forgot that I had done that.
Yeah. Well, that's very creative. And like, how did you get
Yeah.
that idea? Did you steal it from somewhere? Did you see it online? Like, how did you figure out that you?
Um,
Because I mean, I have kids. I never thought about making diaper cakes. Like,
so my sister-in-law's niece, Tanika, and I were kind of close, and it was our niece's baby shower, and she's like, "Hey, I learned how to do this. Let me show you." And she taught me how, basically.
hmm
And we slapped one together. I'm like, this is so easy. I could do this, and it lets me be creative. So we went to Hobby Lobby, grabbed a bunch of stuff, kind of made it match, and then to Walmart to buy baby rattles and pacifiers and spoons and whatever we could decorate it with. And
maybe you can bring
yeah.
that back. Like, I mean, I feel like that I've never even heard of this. Like, this could be still your $1 million idea here. Like, do you
Uh,
do just newborn diapers, like the little teeny weeny ones, or do you like put a couple different sizes so like it's good for a few months? Like,
well, we do size 2 is like the perfect size. I don't know. They're about this size,
yeah,
and
three, 4 inches.
it's just
Yeah.
it's just the perfect size for it. So we would buy the big old pamper box or
Hmm.
whatever Huggies and just have at it. Yeah, I totally forgot that I did that. At one point I made one. It was out of a clothes hamper. It was wicker and it had a lid on it. So I filled that thing with diapers, had baby clothes and the little blankets hanging out of it, and
Oh
a
yeah.
little teddy bear. It was crazy. I don't know. Yeah.
That's super interesting. That's not something I've ever heard before. So you got me on that one. That's a new one for me. And now
Maybe it's a states thing. I don't know.
I might Google that later and be like, maybe I'm starting up a get my kids to start up a diaper. What was it called? Diaper cake company. The DCC.
Yeah.
So
they're for baby showers and things like that,
yeah.
you know,
Not just for like
centerpieces.
not just for fun.
Yeah.
Hey guys, I
No.
didn't bring a bottle of wine to the party. I brought one of these though. Like,
You could shove a bottle of wine down the middle of it,
here
you
we
know,
go.
and then put it around it.
All right, so we're back in South Dakota. You've done 100 different things, kind of just whatever you can put your mind to, and now you're finally in a manufacturing shop, and it's welding time, right? So,
Yep.
what was that transition like for you to get into the manufacturing world of welding? Now,
Okay.
you're in inventory management there, so you said you started off there before they actually put you on the welder, right?
Yes. So I was inventory management and I was shipping and receiving. So I would load and unload the semis when they came in with the forklift. And then I would put together stage jobs for the welders and then bring it to them, be like, hey, you're doing this next.
Mm-hmm.
Stuff like that. Gosh, I did almost every station there was there. So
Yeah.
I did all kinds of stuff wherever they needed me mostly. So I was in shipping and receiving when my boss came to me and said, hey, we're really short on welders. Do you want to learn? And I said, no, I don't want to learn. I know that I'll burn myself. That's so scary, you know? And he's like, oh, come on. And I thought about it for a little bit. And then I think about the second or third time he asked me to do it, I was like, all right, let's do it. And then as soon as I did it, I loved it. And then I didn't want to stop doing it. And I didn't want to do shipping and receiving anymore.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't want to do all this other stuff anymore, you know?
So once you made that switch over into the welding world and you're like, dang, I like this for real. Did you stick it? Did you stick with it? Were you able to maintain that welding job at that company?
Yeah. So I did that for maybe a year or so. And so they had people come in from AWS. They're certified instructors or whatever that came in and then did some tests with us and stuff like that. So that's how I earned my cert, was through that
like your
company.
D11, your basic AWS beginner cert.
Yeah. So it was just a little card. And I forgot where I was going with after that.
So now you're kind of like a real welder though. Now, like you got a cert.
Yes.
You're doing tests.
Yeah. So I did that for a year, and then I think it was a year, maybe it was a little longer than a year. And then, but my husband was out of town working his scaffolding job, and he had been out of town for about 4 years, just coming home on the weekends or long weekends and stuff. And they were going to ship him somewhere a little further away, and then he wouldn't be able to come home at all, maybe like once a month. And then I was just like, well, that's not going to work for me. So we need to figure something out. And he's got flooring background and things like that. So that's when we started Phoenician wood floors. And I hopped on board with him. And then I worked side by side with him for years. And then about 3 years ago is when I started my own welding company.
So why Phoenician? What is?
Because he's from Phoenix.
Oh.
He's for Phoenix.
I thought you were talking. I was like thinking Phoenician, like the Mediterranean, like 6,000 years ago, right?
Right. Well, people from Phoenix, they just refer to themselves as Phoenicians.
Oh, okay.
Because they're from Phoenix. Yeah.
I would think of it as like Phoenicianiers or something.
No, it's really funny. Like when people are never sure on how to say it, so they always look at us like, I don't know how to say this, but that's okay. Just know that we do really good work.
There's the plug there. Phoenician floors, where you get it right. Okay, here we go.
Right.
So now your life as a welder. What kind of work are you doing? Is this like sitting at a table, working with jigs, or just, helmet down, blue light all day? What kind of work are you doing as a welder?
Okay, so I was teamed up with a company called Homes. They had a side custom furniture store
Mm-hmm.
off to the side of there. So they build homes. So they had this other business on the side that they would custom build furniture for the people that bought the homes or whatever. And so my friend Bryce somehow found me on Instagram. I don't know, through a mutual friend or something like that. And he needed a welder. So then I just agreed to do it. But yeah, he would bring me the little crayon drawing of whatever he
Mhm.
needed.
Crayon didn't sound like a very official thing, but
He's gonna listen to this and I'm just be like, Bryce, I swear, like we would come over here and sit and just draw it out on the concrete. Okay, you want it like this? No, you want it like this. So basically, it was a lot of fabrication for metal legs and
Mhm.
tables, chairs, whatever. And he would do the wood part and I did the metal part. So we did that for quite a while. But that's not what I want to do.
Mhm.
I want to do art full time. So I kind of switched gears a little bit to do more of what I want to do instead of stuff that,
So this progression's
nuts.
kind of scaling up, like from young Stacy, who didn't have the ability to be creative or just didn't have the avenues to be creative, to young Stacy, who's doing, diaper cakes and then flower arrangements. So starting to get into this world. Kidding is not a creative thing. That is like, A to B, B to C. That's pretty in stone. To then,
Yep.
Welding on furniture, which is slightly more creative. You get to do it a little bit more of your, thoughts behind that. At what
Yep.
point were you like, you know what? I just want to go all art. Cause like, I feel like you made a jump there at some point to be like, actually, I love art. Actually, this is who I am. Actually,
Right.
this is what I'm going to do.
All right. So I started it. My welding business. When I first started it. I started out piece by piece actually, and it wasn't all welding.
Mm-hmm.
So I would restore furniture and everything that I make for this company. I don't spend it. I just put it aside in a savings. And then, so I would restore old dressers or I don't even know the word for it.
With little tables and stools and
Yeah. And so my aunt gave me
like
an
vanities for
armoire
mirrors and stuff.
Yeah, my aunt gave me an armoire that used to be my grandma's, and it was kind of funny because on the side it had carved in the over waxed side of it says "I heart Jimmy."
Oh,
So that my mom my mom did that, and Jimmy is my dad, James. So this was like forever ago. So I almost didn't want to buff it out of there, but I did. And yeah, so
you're like,
I did that, and then
F this, mom.
look what you did. I'm just kidding. Totally jokes. Yeah, so I started doing that, and then I started building like industrial coffee tables, like 45 the edges and put dowels in it, and I started wood burning.
Mm-hmm.
So I wood burned the pieces that I was either restoring or making, and then I would sell that, put the money aside. Then my husband was like, hey, you know what? We're going to get that welder. So he bought me the welder, and then the stuff that I sold, I would buy all my tools with. So yeah, it's just little by little just added up, and now I have everything. And so I actually started doing art before I started doing the table legs. So I don't know if you've seen Mr. Hagel Borwith,
Mm-hmm.
my little gnome. So I had started that prior to doing that.
Okay.
It just took me a really long time to do it because I had no idea what the hell I was doing.
Yeah, it takes a long time. I'm not good at it. For me to do anything artistic, it's like if I'm doing an industrial job, I'm like on it. I get it. If someone tells me to do something artistic, like I got friends that reach out to me, and I will be like, yeah, I'll try. And it seems to take me 1,000 times longer than I think it should. But I don't know. Maybe that's art. Maybe art just takes a long time. I feel like it's never right.
I think it's just that part. For me, that part is like fear of. I used to give a shit a lot about what people thought of me or what I did. And once I kind of busted out of that, like, you know what, you, they ain't even doing this,
Yeah, they can't do it at all.
why should I give a that if they don't like it? because who has to like it at the end of the day? Me. I don't really care. So, I just kind of started developing from the shy person to like, I'm not going to waste the rest of my life worrying about what people think, because it's just wasting my life.
Yeah, I was
wasting
surprised.
my time.
I was surprised to hear you say you were a shy kid, because I met you, and you're not shy to me. You weren't shy when I met you. Like we had fun right away.
No. Yeah. So I was the kid that smelled like cigarettes because my mom smoked in the house. I wore boy hand-me-downs because we were really poor, and my teeth were so crooked. I was very shy, barely smiled. I didn't want anybody to see me. It was just really crazy. And I never let anybody come to my house.
Yeah.
Things like that. Like, I don't know. I was super like.
So when did you get the braces? Because you got great teeth now.
Thank you. When I was working at Vitron, I think I was 24 and I had to wear them for 2 years.
Well, my wife just got braces now in like her 30s, and she's now has perfect teeth because like she could never afford them growing up. And it's like, well, man, if you want them, get them now. Who cares, right? And
and I had really good insurance at the time too. So I'm like, I'm doing this now, and it kind of, it just gave me a little bit of, a little bit of self-esteem confidence and stuff like that. So, and it made me feel good that I did it by myself too. So
awesome. Well, let's take the break now. Because when we get back, I want to talk about now the new Stacey, full of confidence and vigor, and I don't give a what you think about what I'm doing, attitude, and all the things that I see you do now. So we're going to talk about the Staci Martinez now, 605 Shield Maiden, right after we get back here on the CWB Association podcast. Stay tuned.
The CWB Association is new and improved and focused on you. We offer a free membership with lots of benefits to anyone interested in joining an association that is passionate about welding. We are committed to educating, informing, and connecting our workforce. Gain access to your free digital publication of the Weld magazine, free online training, conferences, and lots of giveaways. Reach out to your local CWB Association chapter today to connect with other welding professionals and share welding as a trade in your community. Build your career, stay informed, and support the Canadian welding industry. Join today and learn more at cwbassociation.org.
And we're back here on the CWB Association podcast. My name is Max Ceron. Thanks for sticking with us. Today we're talking to Staci Martinez, who I met at FabTech with a wonderful group of friends, a really neat group of friends that I always hang out with. And you were like the new person last year for me, and it was great to meet you. And that was the context of which I met you. And I'm learning so much today because I met you as this confident artist who kind of knows what she's doing, has good style, really talkative, really fun and outgoing. And that's the person I met. And to tell me that you were this shy kid that had to go through all these experiences is amazing. It's an amazing trajectory of life. So when we left off, you were, you got your first welder. You were starting to build your own art and find that expression in yourself. What kind of art were you thinking of doing? Were you thinking of like, I'm going to build stuff because I'm just curious about how it goes? Or were you thinking I'm going to build art to sell, to see if I can make money? Like kind of what was your angle?
I just wanted to build sculptures.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I wanted to go big or go home, I guess. I wanted to make stuff that was at the closer to the top of the, food chain, the bigger
difficulty chain,
the bigger stuff. Yeah, just straight up to the top, and I don't know. So that's what I kind of shot for. The gnome was actually by accident, not really by accident.
It was supposed to be a horse. No.
No, it was actually dang it. It was a piece that somebody had asked me to make. So a commission piece. I couldn't think of the word. Sorry. So it was supposed to be a commission piece. This lady was looking for just a small gnome with a functional backpack that she wanted to put on people's doorsteps with something good in the back, like maybe gift cards, movie tickets, things like that. And I can't remember. Yeah. So there was this huge article a lady from 605 magazine wrote about him, and he was called Roman the gnome. Okay. And there was this big thing about how he's supposed to bring joy to people's lives and things like that. But then I had no idea that I could even do that, let alone it being my first piece on the sculpture walk. So as soon as I finished it, she's just like, and she told me, know your worth and tax it. So I did, I did that, and it's a mini sculpture. I'm not sure, I don't know how I would have made it any less than what it was, I guess. So, she said, I can't, she's like, I think this thing is going to do, much more than what I'm going to have him do. So then she wanted me to make, a smaller, just plain version of that. And then I decided, well, it didn't hurt my feelings because I was kind of attached to it. Some weird way. I don't know. You know, when you make something like that, you're just like, I don't know. It's like, it's like a kid or something. I don't know. But, so I decided, well, why not put this dude in the sculpture walk? And that's when I made the mushroom for it and the kind of scenery thing that you see on him today, that he's downtown Sioux Falls. But yeah, he's on the sculpture walk that we do have here, is the biggest in the world. And I do know that you guys have one up there too. It's called Castlegar. Yeah, things like that. So I learned that because of the artist reception. There were some people that I met, really, really cool people from Canada.
From Canada, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, so yeah, that they told me all this stuff. They're like, "Did you know?"
Yeah.
It's like, thanks.
Yeah, when are you coming up to come visit?
I don't know, but I have to. I gotta visit Rhea. I keep telling her that I'm gonna,
awesome.
and I gotta.
And we gotta get Rhea to come down to a fab tech.
Dude, I know. This last time I'm like, Russ and Charlie from Fast Cut, they gotta pull something together and bring her down here for that. I think it'll be fun, especially in Florida this next year.
Yeah.
That'd be rad.
I already booked my hotel rooms. I literally, so I'm in.
Did you?
At my work, I'm in conference mode. I got one next week, and then I got travel. Like, I'm going to be on the road for the next few months, and so, I already booked my Orlando trip. I already booked the week I'm there. I already got my podcast room booked with AWS and everything. So, yeah, no, I'm on it. I'm there. I already talked to Becker about what we're going to be doing there. I talked to Ray 2 days ago about what's going on. And so I already got the wheels in motion for Orlando. So
nice. Yeah, I'm definitely going. I just, I'm not really sure about the hotel situation because there was some talk about maybe somebody supplying that, but then, yeah. So I don't know. If it doesn't happen soon, I'm definitely going to get one because I'm not going to miss out.
Well, hotels are already filling up. Just
friends.
So you know, you got to send some emails.
Are they?
The main hotels are already booked solid. Like the AWS hotel's full. The FMA hotel's full. I already had to go to like the second level, being like, dang.
Dang, I may have to get a hold of you later just to see which ones are close by, because I kind of been looking too, and I'm not really sure. So, or maybe I'll just Airbnb it with a bunch of girls. So
yeah, either way, or we can all go sleep at Becker's shop.
Yeah,
just take sleeping bags and go hang out at the underground.
Right? Oh, I bet you that would be really fun, actually.
That would be a blast, but we probably would be really terrible for work. Like, it'd be like,
all right, yeah.
Oh yeah, the work stuff. Well, I gotta work there. I don't know if you gotta
stuff.
work there, but I gotta work there.
So I don't know if the Hooded Heroes is supposed to go. I'm pretty sure that the American Welding Society supplies us with a booth every year. So yeah, I don't know if I'm pretty sure they're gonna have one, and I go anyways. So that's just an extra thing. Yeah.
So actually, that's a nice little segue into that project. I was gonna save it for later, but you said it. So, Hooded Heroes. Sure.
Yes.
Explain what that is, what your contribution to it is, and what that whole project's about. Because that's another hat that you wear.
Yeah. Okay. So the Hooded Heroes Foundation is a 501c3 nonprofit organization that was started by a welding instructor, Joey, and his soon-to-be wife, Katie. We just, we do raffles and things like that over Instagram, and we get people to donate stuff to us, and we raffle it off for money that goes into an account, and we help students in need, welding students in need that need proper PPE and things like that, that sometimes their loans fall short. So they don't have the money to get their boots, hoods, safety glasses, whatever, gloves, just everything. So yeah, they reach out to us. We have them write I think it's a 250 to 500 word essay about,
What their
why
need
we should
is,
help
yeah.
them. Yes. And then what they need. And then we do check references, stuff like that. So,
So
yeah.
who are the main sponsors for Hooded Heroes? Like to be a non-profit, like I run my, like what I do is non-profit, but this is a $42 million non-profit as opposed to, one just starting
Yeah.
up. So, how does a company or a foundation like yours get stuff? Who do you reach out to? How do people reach out to you? How do they find you?
Well, sometimes they'll just, they'll see one of the posts or something like that, or somebody will like mention it. So like word of mouth, because we've helped somebody before, things like that. And I don't know why that I can't think of our sponsors. Right. I know that John King is one of them, JK Welding. Gosh, there is so many, and I can't ever remember like all of them.
Yeah.
And I don't handle that part of it.
Yeah.
So I'm just the secretary. So when we're on the Zoom calls, I am the one writing everything word for word. And then I send out an email because we have to document things like that. So I document everything.
So it's basically smaller independent companies that are looking to support you.
Yes.
All right. What about chasing like the big fish, like the 3Ms or the Millers and the Lincolns and the Froniuses, like the Air Liquides, all those big companies.
Yeah, I think that nonprofits scare people, and we have to prove ourselves before we can reach for the stars like that.
Yeah.
I think, I don't know. We just have to, prove to the people that, we are who we say we are. We have to earn our keep in the nonprofit world, I guess you could say. And then from there, I guess that kind of stuff
just evolves out of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I think, and because when I think of like a nonprofit, I am really like skeptical.
Yeah.
I don't trust a lot of people. I don't believe a lot of, either. So when I think of like somebody being like, hey, you want to give me some money? I'm just like,
go away.
I'll dig into that first.
Yeah.
Or it has to be something like totally worth my time or worth it, or, so I know how I feel about that. Imagine, people in the cyber world and all that kind of stuff. They're trying to see who we are, or, you know what I mean?
I totally get what
people
you mean.
are,
And I will give you another side of that coin, because I have to think about this too, because I live in the not-profit space as well. And when I got into the not-for-profit world, it was a lot of like, how do we get past people being skeptical? How do we let people know that what we're doing is actually for the community and not just to line pockets? It's all those same kind of fears that you have as a not-for-profit. And I said, what do you think about the Red Cross? What do you think about the Salvation Army? Those are $100 million, billion-dollar not-for-profits, right? That we all trust. So how did those companies get to where they are, right? And that's what I think. Clear messaging, a solid story, and a clear path. So like that dollar, you can trace it. Like I can see if I give you $100, I'll find out where it went, right? Now, I would argue now that those giant billion-dollar not-for-profits probably aren't as good at tracing cash as they are, and like they're not great examples anymore. But I keep that in my mind to remind myself that a not-for-profit doesn't have to be small, right? It can be big, and it can do bigger things, but you have to keep those same rules. You have to be transparent. You have to be authentic. You have to be honest, or else you'll fall apart right away. You know what I mean?
Yes. Yes, I agree. And so we have 9 members on our board, and like each one of them kind of has brought something to the table in one way or another. We're all welders, things like that. So
is it just for your area, or is this like all US?
It's all over the United States. Sarah Jean, Sarah Jean is her Instagram name or whatever. She is in New York. We have somebody in Florida, Jason Sasaki.
Yep.
Yeah, Arkansas. That's where he's from. He's on the board. All Out Metalworks. Gosh, he is in North Dakota, and so is Joey and Katie. They're in North Dakota. I can't remember where Mitchell is. but they're from all over the United States.
So you kind of
We're
got
from
people
everywhere.
split up all over the place.
Yeah, one of our goals is to make it into Canada next, and maybe Mexico, but we've got a long ways to go for that.
Well, when you get up here, you better reach out to me, because we're the biggest welding not-for-profit in Canada, and we support people like you all over the place. And I know I already talked to you about trying to see if I can get support for you in the U.S., because we're coming into the U.S. The CWB is coming into the U.S. We already acquired a couple companies. We're moving in. We're developing a new program. And I'm always looking for stuff like this, because that's the authentic stuff people care about. Like, I mean, it's the stuff that makes, and I mean, to be honest, from my end of it, from a business standpoint, it's great optics to be authentic, to be like, hey, we're helping like smaller not-for-profits to do the stuff that I can't do. I can't get into your neighborhood and give out hoods to people, and you can.
Right.
Why wouldn't I use that? You know what I mean? So So I think it's a win. I love that you're doing that. I think that's a wonderful thing to do, just like, you know, from the heart. I always tell my staff it's a halo work, like a halo, like on an angel. We do halo work. Like, yeah, it's still money, but we got a halo on because we're trying to do the right thing, right? Like, we're still trying to help, right? So,
well, I don't get paid anything. Mine is, I get zero payment. I just, I get to be the person that I needed when I was growing up. So that I love to help people. I really do. And this is a good way for me to do that.
And what about FabTech? What, the conference scene? What is in it for you to be there? You said you would attend anyways, even if Hooded Heroes wasn't. What is it that attracts Stacy to FabTech or to conferences in general? I don't know what other ones you attend or what other stuff you do, but what attracted you to go to the first one, and why do you want to keep coming back?
It's the networking, and I get to be around other women that do what I do. So it's like, there's nothing like it. I don't always fit in like a certain place, and I really do feel like I fit in there. And I get to talk to women about welding and that kind of stuff. Just tools. I get to talk to them about tools, and it's just an exciting place for me to be, because there's like-minded people everywhere, and I can just go up to somebody and just talk to them. I learn a lot. Frank Ledbetter, I don't know if you know who he is.
Yeah, he's been on the show.
Yeah, just talking to him, it gives you so much advice. Just like I learned so much just by talking and networking.
This last FabTech, me and Frank and Lily were in a hotel room till like 7 a.m. eating Taco Bell, and we had to be up for work in an hour.
Oh my gosh, that is so funny. Yeah, everybody is so cool, and I meet different people every year that I go, and everybody knows something different. And I think welding and even the wood floor industry, you will never know everything. So I love that you can just go and learn and pick people's brains, or say, hey, I'm doing this, how would you do this, or what would you do differently, or whatever. Just have conversations like that with people.
So do you attend any of the sessions, or do you go for mainly the floor and the networking?
The floor and the networking. I like to go check out what new tools are, or finish supplies, things like that. I like to see what's new with
and all the freebies,
like FR gear. Yeah, I don't normally get a whole lot of freebies.
Oh
but
man,
this time,
I fill up bags of freebies, because then I bring them back. I bring them back and I give them out to students, because I'm always going to high schools. So I take as much at FabTech as I can. I actually take an empty suitcase with me, and I fill it with supplier stuff, because they don't want to take it back. If they gave me
gloves, I would do that.
Right?
Really?
Yeah. So here's a life hack for everyone listening. When you go to FabTech or CanWeld or AISC, the steel conference in Denver, any of the big metalworking conferences, on the last day when people are packing up, make sure you hit the floor with a big bag, because companies take stuff to give away at conferences and they don't want to take it home. They spent the money to give it away. Anything left over at the end of the day, on the last day, they'll give it to you. They'll give you a whole box, as long as they don't have to ship it back, because that's just a waste of money for them. So I always go. I've come back with MIG whips. I came back with a whole welder last time. It was a $300 welder. She's like, give me $40. I gave her $40 and I came home with another welder.
That's insane. And
Yeah.
you know, if I would have known that, so Joey and Katie drove. If I would have known that, we would have had so many gloves for the students to
Yeah,
give
and that's
away.
what I do. So on my shelf
Oh my
right there,
gosh.
I have a fish bowl. Like I don't know if you can see a plastic fish bowl. So when I
Okay.
go after I get back from Fab Tech, I always fill that fish bowl with like random stuff, and I take it to a high school and I just let it pass around, and you can dig in there, take whatever you want, and then every high school
That's
I
cool.
fill it up again, and then it's just like, and it'll be just random stickers from companies these kids will never see. They don't care. Like it's just fun. It'll be like the
Right.
flashlights and the bottle openers. Like I got one of them here right now from Fab Tech. Like I mean, I just constantly,
cool.
I just give it out because it's not mine, but I'm a not for profit,
Right.
and I don't have to spend the money on it. I'll spend the $50
Right.
to bring the suitcase back, but the kids love it, right? So there you go.
Right. That's a good idea too, because I do speak with high school students as well. I don't know if I don't think I'd mentioned that, but
Mhm.
yeah, I will go in and speak to high school students and stuff like that, and that would be a good idea too.
Yeah, yeah. Like I mean, even us, like we take swag. We don't like bringing it back. We're always like, yeah, take it all. Like, I mean, I don't
Yeah,
want
get
it.
it outta here.
Yeah, get it out of here. I don't want to ship this back to Canada. Just you know what I mean.
Right.
So, so that's always a good thing to do. Now, aside from the networking, and the conferences and the sculptures and the flooring company and the fitness and hooded heroes and also talking in schools, where do you find time for your social media? Because you got a pretty strong social media presence. You know, you post pretty regularly. You know, 605 Shield Maiden does well. You know, where does that fit in your life? And did it come before you got so involved, or did it come after you got so involved?
Like posting on social media.
Yeah.
So, gosh, I was just on Facebook, and it was just, you know, just me posting talk mostly, and you know, just my husband's family's back in Phoenix, you know, so I had the Facebook for like just,
Communication.
you know, just communication, like what the kids were up to, like that, just nothing, like whatever. I don't know why I thought of. I think my oldest daughter was like, "Mom, you should go on Instagram." I was like, "Instagram? What? What the?" I was like, "Okay," and so I just started posting my stuff on Instagram. Um, so I do sound like I'm like super busy, and I am super busy a lot of the time, but I do have a lot of downtime, and I don't know, between picking up the kids from school or, you know, when I work at the gym, I get up at 3 a.m. and I have to be there before 4:30, and I do my 4 sessions, and I'm done doing that by 8:15 in the morning. So that leaves my whole day open.
Wow.
So usually when I come home, I can do some office work or
Get in the shop for a bit.
I don't know, get
Yeah.
supplies, or if my husband needs anything,
Mhm.
or you know, run errands and stuff like that, or if I have something due, I can just come straight out here. So my schedule is, as always, it's never the same.
Mhm.
It's very scattered, and I just have downtime to
Yeah.
do that. So every once in a while.
Do you feel that it's helped you in your career and in your reach, even with meeting people for things like Fab Tech and making friends that you can like hope to connect with later? Has Instagram been useful
Yeah.
for you as a networking tool?
100%, I would blame it all on Instagram. I do. I really do. Here, I don't know who would really know who I am, I guess,
Mhm.
unless it wasn't, if it wasn't for Instagram, I don't think anybody would really know who I was. So,
Yeah.
I mean, not that I only have I have like under 3,000 followers. So I wouldn't say that I'm a big presence on Instagram.
That's more than me. Nobody likes me.
I think that people know who I am, just not a lot of people follow me. You know
Mhm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Well, I'm the
I
same
don't know
way.
how that works.
I think it's because we
or
might be a
whatever.
little bit older. Like, I mean, I'm older than you, but I mean, my Instagram is not a lot. A lot of kids join. I get like 100 people who join a week, and then 99 of them quit. Right. So like, I think a lot of young
I know.
people, are like, "Wow, who's this guy? He's involved in welding." Like, "Ah, he's old. Who cares?" But
Right.
in the scene, in the actual scene, like at a Fab Tech, you know, I'll go and I'll know everybody there, right? Because I've been in the industry for 30
Yeah.
years, right? And in 30 years,
Right.
I've met a lot of people, whether it's Instagram or not. That's kind of like another world that I'm a little bit out of. I'm just on the edge of it. You know what I mean?
Mhm. And I don't know. Everybody's so familiar when I go there. I just know who they are. You know, they might not know who I am, or they'll say they know who I am, and I'm just like, what? That's really, really weirding me out. And so another reason why I got on Instagram is because when I first started welding, I worked with this I should be nice. This lady named Brenda. She was not nice to me. She tormented the shit out of me. And I'm like, God, not all women welders are like this, right? I just hope to, I was just looking for somebody else, you know.
Some support, some positive support. Yeah.
Just to see, like, so I Googled it. I was like, women welders. And then Barbie the welder came up, you know. So I'm like, what the heck? And then I was like looking at what she did. And I'm like, holy shit, this is amazing. And so that's kind of one of the reasons. And then I was like, well, kind of see who she was following. And then, you know, just started following people. Eventually people started following me, and then just, you know, the little roll. But then, you know, I'll do something like super cool, and then I'll get like a bunch of followers. And then if you don't follow them back or whatever, you get a hope that, this she ain't follow me back. I ain't following her. There's a lot of people like that too.
Yeah.
But I tend to be more sentimental about the people that I follow, or if I've met you, I want to follow you. You know, I want to see what you're up to.
More from a communication stance. It's not about the followers. It's about
No, and I want to support my friends. I want to see my friends in the feed. You know, like Rhea the welder. I have never met her, but she is the most badass chick. I swear, I love her, and I don't even know her like that. You know, she's just so supportive, and gosh, she's just I don't know. She is one of my go-to people, and so I don't even know. I'm just kind of rambling.
No, but it's true. It's true, because you have a network that you meet online, and you hope that they're like that in real life. You know what I mean? You really do.
Yeah.
And most of the time they are. Most of the time there has been, I have been burned a couple times where I'm like, oh, this person's got such a cool Instagram. We're going to hit it off. We're going to be best friends. And then I meet them at a conference, and I'm like, maybe not so much. A little bit different.
Right.
Cause I'm also kind of a weird dude. So I got my things too that probably not everyone likes me either. Right. Like, I mean,
I'm okay with that. I'm
kind of
weird.
Not
being liked,
so.
but I'm weird as I am weird, and I'm awkward. I do the weirdest Sometimes I say stuff like, what the is the matter with you? Why would you say that? I don't know. I'm just super weird, and but yeah, like I was saying, I just am more sentimental about the people that I follow, and I want to support them. So I want to see their in my feed. You know what I mean? I don't want to see the same thing over and over. I don't know. I hope that doesn't make me sound like a big old, but I don't know. It's a community that I don't know. I look up to, and I've met like people that I can just like call and be like, hey, how do you do this? So I'm gonna redeem myself here for a second, because on the last podcast I did, I threw my friend's business under the damn bus. So my friend Evan owns Evco.
Okay.
He's a welder, and he makes art. He's one of my favorite artists, but I've never heard him say it, because it's Instagram. You don't really, he never said it.
Yeah.
So I told him, I was like, hey, I gave you a shout out, blah, blah, blah. And at least he's like, listen, I'm not being a dick right now, but that's not how you say my name. And I felt so bad. I'm like, oh, I'm going to fix this one way or another. But so when I was working on the gnome, he actually gave me a lot of pointers. And anytime something went wrong, I was able to just go to him, and he would answer me without no bull. No, like, I don't know. He didn't make me feel stupid, things like that. And I have met a lot of people like that.
So like,
Instagram.
I'll tell you a few people that I've met over Instagram that ended up being big supporters. And now I help support them, and we support each other. Jason Becker. When I got asked by CWB to start the podcast. So I've been a welder my whole life, but I also have a radio show. I've been doing radio for like 20 years. So CWB approached me being like, hey, you're kind of a famous welder in Canada. You're a teacher. You do all this stuff. You own a business, blah, blah, blah. We heard you do radio. Do you want to do podcasts? And I was like, man, I don't have no idea what a welding podcast sounds like. So I started listening to Becker. And then I reached out to him, and I was like, hey, Jason, you don't know me. I'm in Canada. This is my background. I want to start a podcast. And do you have any pointers? And he was so helpful immediately. And like now, me and Jason are basically the top 1 and 2 podcasts in the world for welding, and we still work on projects together today. I just flew him up to Canada to do a conference, all expenses paid. Thanks, brother, like for helping me out. I put him on a big stage. We did an awesome show up here. We go down to the States and FabTech. We work together on projects, and that's just Instagram. Like, we met through Instagram, and now we're like, our careers are tied together, like.
Right? I love Jason Becker. He's cool as he was my first. I did Art Junkies podcast, and I think it was like, I don't know, episode 203 or 207 or something like that. I can't remember now, but yeah, he was so freaking nice. And I totally forgot. I was working on something with a deadline, and I totally forgot that I had that. I had like black all over my face. I was a mess. I ran into my kids' room and shut the door because it was the only one with like a big rug, for the noise. And I was so nervous. Like, that was one of my first podcasts, but he was so freaking nice. He, didn't make me feel like an idiot or anything like that. So, and he's nice in real life too. So
yeah, and then
cool
like
guy.
Stephanie and Ray and Fred and Lou and all, like they're all like, we message each other. Me and Ivan message all the time, and these are like people that I would have never ever ran into if it wasn't for FabTech. Like, they're just people that I just meet, and we become like homies for life. And it's so interesting because we all have different parts of the industry. Like, so many of you guys are artists, but then there's instructors and business managers. I mean, I ask Stephanie for business advice all the time because she's like the smartest business person I know. And then there's Jason, the teacher, right? And then now Allison Palla I met last year, and she's a lawyer. So I'm like, man, you got so much information. Like, it's just all these amazing people in our networks,
I know. See, now you see, I feel that you have the same excitement I do about that, and that's really cool. That's why I go to FabTech.
Yeah,
that is exactly why. And all those people that you had mentioned, it's so weird that like I'm slowly becoming friends with all of them guys too, and it's just wild as, and they are very smart. Like, you talk to Ivan and all them guys, and they all do stuff different. Lou does stuff different, and you can learn something from everybody, and they're so willing to help or give advice to, or, they say, hey, reach out, and you could just ask them anything. And Stephanie is so freaking smart at this. I swear. I'm like, I had no idea you can even put two metals together. I didn't go to school for this. And I'm like, look at that. Oh my God. I'm like, look at this that she's making is so rad, and she's just beautiful. And just cool as.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. So now, what's on the horizon for you? What are you working on right now? What's coming up? What are you planning?
So right now I'm working for my second piece that's going to go on the sculpture walk here downtown in Sioux Falls. So they'll switch out at like around Cinco de Mayo, they'll switch them out. So they'll put the new ones out. And then my piece that I had down there is sold already. So the person that got that, it'll switch out with that. So then I'll have another piece on the sculpture walk, and then I'll just start working on my sculptures for next year. I'd like to finish up my vision board, and I have a couple pieces on there. One of them I want to put on the sculpture walk, and the other one I just want to do because I want to do it, and hopefully it'll sell.
Do you have I can't imagine you have problems selling stuff. Like, that's the ignorant side of me. I don't even know how people sell art. Like, you just like, hear ye, I have art. Like, I don't know.
Well, a lot of the things, so I've been asked to donate a lot of things. So a lot of my art I have donated. I don't know if you've seen the bull skull that I recently, or the buffalo skull that I actually did.
Oh, yes,
that
I did.
one. That went to a nonprofit here to help bring awareness to children and about the opioid crisis and things like that. They actually pay for where insurance companies fall short to get these people the help that they need. Because sometimes they turn away help because they can't afford it or whatever. This is where this company, it's called Emily's Hope, swoops in and
I think I've heard of Emily's
takes
Hope,
care of
actually.
And so that, and then there was I don't know, I've donated a lot of stuff, so a lot of my stuff has gone to donation, and if I'm able to do that, I'm gonna do it, just because I don't know, it's just helping people, and I feel like the stuff that it's helping is, I don't know,
it's bigger than you. It's good.
Yes. So selling my art, this sculpture rock, that's what that will help me do, get more recognized. I'm still a baby. at this.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I look like know what I'm doing or not.
But you
I'm
do it
still
better
in the
than me. I
baby
watched your Instagram today, and you're putting all those little rods underneath the mushroom, and I'm like, oh, I don't even know if I'd have the patience to do that. I'd be like,
Yeah, I've learned patience, and I'm not really a patient person, but I don't know if it's just because I'm getting older now, or I'm starting to realize my anxiety and all that stuff that I had before. It does me no good. Like if you just start slowing down, thinking about what you're doing,
it always comes out right.
you know. Yeah, I have to slow down because I'm always in go mode.
Mm-hmm.
So I have to note that even
My
when I
staff
write
just
my
told me
kids
that
notes,
today.
slow down.
Yeah, my
Yeah,
staff is always like,
I tell
whoa,
my
slow
kids,
down.
yeah, I tell my kids to slow down all the time too. They're like, oh, I'm freaked out. I'm like, slow down. Think about it.
Yeah.
Like that's just the big thing. Like people just need to slow down. But yeah.
All right, so for the last couple of questions, this has been fantastic. I'm curious about, and you don't have to tell me, just I'm curious. What's your heritage? What's your background?
I'm just the white girl.
Yeah, because you got such
I
tan
did an
skin.
ancestry.
Yeah, I'm curious what mix you got.
I have I'm Norwegian, German, Swedish. I'm all white. Everybody thinks that because my last name is Martinez.
I assume that's a married name, though, is it?
Yes,
Yeah.
yeah, it is my married name. My
Maiden name?
maiden name is Sour, and people think that it's just a nickname in my name on my Instagram. No, it's my maiden name. Even though my dad was adopted, yeah, my last name would be Fite, F-I-T-E, and that's like German, and I don't know all these.
Yeah, because dark eyes, dark skin. I was
English.
Like, yeah. I was like, oh, there must be something,
No.
But who knows? You never know. Especially if there's adopted people in the family, you never really know what the mix
Yeah.
is. And your husband, what's his heritage?
He's Hispanic and Irish, half and half.
Hispanic and Irish.
Well,
That's
there's a
an
little bit.
interesting mix.
Yeah, his mom. There's a little bit more, but that's what his main ones are: is Hispanic.
Yeah. My kid's
and Irish
mom is Mexican and Scottish, and I'm full Chilean. So my kids are three Chilean, so half Chilean, a quarter Mexican, and a quarter Scottish, and both my kids came out white. I was like, come on. Like really, like I mean, you're 3/4 Latino, and they came out with like white skin, like paper. I was like, oh well, whatever.
Yeah. My husband's really white too. People don't think he's Hispanic either, but he is. And he never learned to speak it. His dad always really tried, but then he's just like this.
Yeah,
Mom, Dad's talking to me in Spanish again.
My radio show that I do on the weekends is in Spanish, so I've been doing Spanish talk radio since forever now. Crazy.
You know,
right?
it's funny.
What?
Yeah, that's funny. So my friend Manny back in Arizona, I don't know what made me ask him this stupid question, but I'm like, because he's Hispanic and he can speak English too, and I'm like, do you think thoughts in Spanish or do you think thoughts in English? Because he does it half and half, and he said both.
Both, yeah. I dream in both too.
Do you?
Yeah, I dream in Spanish. I dream. Well, no, because it's the same way I talk. It's not weird to me. I mean, it'd be weird if you dreamt in Spanish.
I don't know. I know the bad words.
Yeah, but it's not weird for me because it's the same way. Now, my company, like here at CWB, we just actually expanded into South America. So now I have meetings in Spanish, and then I'll have meetings in English, which is like very fortunate that I'm a Spanish speaker as a first language. But if I'm in a Spanish meeting for like a couple hours, and then my next meeting's in English, sometimes I have trouble like flipping the switch. It's like I'll be like just like forgetting English words.
That is funny. I don't know what made me ask him. He laughed though. He thought it was pretty funny.
All right, Stacey.
It's a legit question.
Yeah, it is. What can we expect from you in terms of the Hooded Heroes work? What's coming up with them? How do people get a hold of Hooded Heroes? For the people that are listening, how do they reach out?
Go to hoodedheroes.org, or you can, if you go to hoodedheroes.org, you can reach out to anybody that's on the board. We got a new website now. I'm not really good with navigating it, but the board members are on there. You can reach out to anybody on there, or you can reach out to any one of us board members on Instagram. All of our handles are there on the website. Yeah.
Okay.
Other than that, so
And how do people reach out to you if they want to find out more about your artwork?
Instagram, 605 Shield Maiden.
Shield Maiden. And there's a lot of Shield Maidens out there. There's if you
Is there?
Yeah, there is. I had to make sure I found 605. Like initially when I was searching for you, someone said, just look up Shield Maiden. And there was like 100 Shield Maidens. I was like, wow.
Oh,
Okay, which one? 605.
The original.
Oh, the
No,
OG.
just kidding.
Here we
I
go.
don't really. Yeah, right. I don't know.
All right. Any shout outs you'd like to send out to anybody?
No, just nothing. I ain't got nothing.
Yeah. Well, I hope to see you at FabTech. I'm sure I will. If you need any help down there or for hotel information or anything, let me know. I'm always around. We're
Sure.
heading down there, I think, on the Sunday and staying till the Friday. So I think we're going to be there the whole week because there's stuff happening all the time. So I think we're signed up for most of it. And plus, we'll be doing podcasts down there live as well. It's going to be lots of fun. Can't wait to see you there.
Heck yeah. I'm super stoked for it. Thanks for having me on the show. I
Yeah.
appreciate it.
Absolutely. And for all the people that have been following along, make sure you check out Stacey's work on Instagram, 605 Shield Maiden. It's fantastic. Plus, she does handstands, which I can't ever get tired of watching. I'm literally enthralled by them because since I was a kid, I was like, maybe someday I'll learn to try and I've tried. Like, I mean, I try them against the wall. I've tried to get, I got lots of shoulder muscles. I can get up there, but the balance part, I just can't. But anyways, that aside, check out her Instagram and lots of cool stuff. And Hooded Heroes is a great project. And I'm very happy that people like you are out there investing your time and volunteering your time to help people less fortunate, which is very important in this world. So thank you very much.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And for all the people downloading and sharing and commenting, keep it up. Keep up the great work. Thank you so much for making the show what it is. We're having tons of fun. We're rolling out the shows. We're going to be pushing hard right until FabTech. And at FabTech, we're going to be recording a bunch. We're going to be doing Skills Canada in Quebec City. We're doing 16 podcasts, I think, over 3 days or something. It's something ridiculous, but it's going to be amazing. And we're getting ready for World Skills to really show off the Canadian welding content and skills that we got traveling around the world. So lots of fun projects coming up. Make sure you check them all out and stay tuned for the next episode.
We hope you enjoyed the show.